News of the brutally violent attack by National Socialists on mostly women and elderly people at Camp Sovereignty in Melbourne has travelled around the world. In a vain attempt to launch a reputational damage control campaign, TikTok influencer Hugo Lennon, who organised the Melbourne March for Australia alongside National Socialist Network leader Thomas Sowell, uploaded this attempt to rationalise what the neo-Nazis did on the day.
The actual individuals who spent the entire day fighting the communists, fighting the far leftists, who were trying to stop the march, were trying to attack the attendees, the ordinary Australian attendees, those same men ended up figuring out that the so-called Camp Sovereignty was being used as a sort of staging or a forward operating base from which attacks on ordinary Australians leaving the march were being carried out. So the nationalists who spent the entire day fighting these communists got wind of this, got wind that instead of attacking the nationalists directly, they're attacking the ordinary Australians who stood behind them during the march. And I guess, according to Notice News, they were furious and they took the fight to them.
These people felt that they received a shot in the arm when a young woman on TikTok uploaded this video chat with a firekeeper at the camp.
Seen somebody else walking down the other side, and then they all decided to go and chase after him, and they managed to catch him, and then a big fight went on, and they were knocking one another out and everything. And then after that, those fellas, they all took off. It was only a matter of time. That's when the Nazis came, because they went back into the city and told them what happened, and then 60 of them came here and attacked the entire camp.
This man doesn't say he was there for all of this, and he's merely relaying some of another person's observations, certainly at the start. But let's bear all that in mind and go through it alongside a timeline of the day that I have collected from people who actually were there. The first thing the man says is correct, and if you think about it, nobody trying to defend the Nazis should actually have been excited to share it. He identifies that at 9 a.m. to 9:30 in the morning, only 2 people and 1 camp elder had to defend the camp against 7 neo-Nazis who attempted to walk through the fire. Remember, this ain't the attack, this is in the morning.
He said, "Brudan, there's 10 Nazis walking at me, walking towards me." And I told her to stand her ground and to operate in a proper manner and talk to her. And she did. One of them wanted to step into the fire and she said, "Nah, stop that. They're recording this." Yeah. Anyway, she ended up talking to them in a proper manner and respectful, and they all walked away.
After that happened, they called for support because they recognised from that time on that they were a target of the neo-Nazis. In response to that, supporters of Camp Sovereignty organised a skeleton crew for backup. Following that, from 9:30 a.m. till around midday, about 5 people and 1 camp elder stood guard at the camp and discussed a plan to defend it with non-violence, while sending repeated messages warning about the vulnerability of the camp and asking for more backup. Through this time, agitation by neo-Nazi protesters and spotters continued. Attendees of the Nazi rally, including NSN members, scouted by repeatedly and photographed, attempting to intimidate the camp. Here's a couple of pics of that happening. This is a long-distance shot taken on a phone, but I can confirm this is in the morning, and this is Jaden Johnson of the NSN and Cam Cuthbertson, scouting by the camp. In addition, known associates of the NSN were attempting to scope out the camp, jogging by and dressed in normal fitness clothing. This kept happening. In the afternoon, from midday till around 4 p.m, numbers of supporters at the camp there to defend it against this repeated neo-Nazi interest in it increased up to around 50, which made it safe for a time. People watching out continued to identify spotters and agitators who were photographed and told to leave. Now, from around 4 p.m, these supporters at camp began to diminish, thinking that the coast was clear. But as we now know, the coast was not clear, and more spotters must have let the NSN know that the camp was open to attack. And at about 5 p.m, as we know, they all headed in. I wanted to set the record straight because these lies are, in my view, continuing to endanger the camp. The mostly women and elderly people at Camp Sovereignty brutally attacked by the NSN were bystanders. The NSN attacked them because they are ideological racists and violent white supremacists. It's actually very simple. Never mind my thoughts here in the echo chamber, though. I reckon white supremacist Blair Cottrell put it best recently when he expressed his frustration at the huge damage that Sewell has just done to his own movement with this act of premeditated, brutal...
You know, the media is portraying it as they ran up the hill to beat up innocent Aboriginals that were sitting around, doing nothing.
I'll be honest, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like on camera. It looks really bad. It looks like Tom and his guys were the aggressors and they attacked people who weren't doing anything. They were sitting there.
If you've had enough like me, there's a National Day of Action this Saturday with actions happening all around the country. Here's a list. Go find the one closest to you and show up and join us.